Welcome. Today we're going to talk about Gahlan Surlak. Again, of the World Legion, World Eater Legion. Probably my favorite legion at this point. So, let's go on with it. Now, this person, Gahlan Surlak, was an apothecary. And as most apothecaries do, it is their job to heal their brethren, their wounded brethren from the battles they sustain. Unfortunately, so his goal will change later on during the Legion's lifespan, or what's left of it. You see, during the Horus Heresy, the orders from the Legion's High Command kind of forced Surlak to change the focus of his duties, to concentrate less upon healing the wounded and to continue doing his job to induct new aspirants for the Legion. Basically, people who wouldn't really care about pain, and they really had no need to heal them. So basically, what was his job was to basically create meat grinders, human shields, flesh shields, made out of young Legion aspirants, whose only goal was either to win the fight or die. And as you would expect, it happened a lot. So that would force the apothecaries to change their position upon things, to look at different aspects of life and how they should focus and care less about healing. But that can be either good or bad depending how you see it. Now, Surlak was also handed a special project he liked to obsess over, and that is the successful implementation of the butcher's nails without killing their host. I'm not gonna get into what the butcher's nails do, but basically they put nails in their brains and that makes them angry. Problem is that most of the time this doesn't really work properly. Like, the wiki says it has a 100% fatality rate, but if I remember correctly, Angron has them, and some of the gladiators he came with. No, I remember there were no gladiators that came with Angron because the Emperor just teleported Angron, and that's it. Anyway, so yeah, that was gonna be his other job, his side hustle, to say like that. And he would continue having problems with implementing them and killing the host of the nails until the Gehenna Massacre. Now, you see, during the Gehenna Massacre, Gahlan was able to put his hands on Gehenna technology. And apparently, since an apothecary works as a tech priest, he was able to reverse engineer it. And thanks to that discovery, let's just say that the butcher's nails could be implemented in the whole Legion. There was nothing to stop them. The fatality rate, inconsequential, inexistential, whatever you want to call it. Once he reverse engineered that Gehenna technology, well, he discovered his method of mass implementation. Because you see, he was not just gonna do it easily. No, you see, Gahlan was an adventure capitalist. He knew the proper solution. Manufacturing in mass. Or in this case, mass implementation of the butcher's nails. Now, of course, there were people that didn't really like that idea. One of them being Centurion Mago. You see, Centurion Mago didn't like that because he was from Terra. And he kind of saw how crazy Angron was with the nails inside his head. So he decided to sabotage Gahlan's work. But rather than going himself and blowing things up, he decided to send a tech priest. No, a tech marine? Yeah, a tech marine, tech priest. Sometimes I get them confused. A tech marine. And he sent the tech marine to Gahlan's lab to destroy his work. But you would think that a crazy obsessed person that really wants to put the butcher's nails into the whole legion would have some measures of precaution, wouldn't they? Well, that's what he had. Because once the tech marine tried to sabotage Gahlan's work, well, Gahlan subdued him with a poisonous dart. You might not understand why this poison dart is important, and is not really important. To be honest, it makes sense. But what's more important is who he got it from. Because in this side of the world, there is another apothecary that has, well, bad ideas. And that's Fabius Bile, who gave Gahlan the poisonous dart. Well, the poor tech marine was caught in a treacherous position, and he got subdued in the most kind of lame way, if we're gonna be honest. But you see, the tech marine isn't just gonna end it like that. You see, it never ends easily when it comes to the Warhammer universe, and it doesn't matter if it's fantasy or 40k. We don't count Age of Sigmar. I don't know anything about that. Now, after that, Gahlan took a sadistic pleasure in torturing the tech marine. Like, he put the tech marine through an agonizing death. He tortured him until his soul left his body. And with what? With the drill, of course. Now, I still don't get why apothecaries have drills. It doesn't really make that much sense to me, but sure. And as any psycho does, Gahlan justified his decision to torture the tech marine until he eats. And that was just because he wanted to betray me, to commit treachery, to sabotage my work. Of course he was gonna say that. Because all psychos have a reason for torturing people. But you see, now that the tech marine was yeeted and there was nothing really standing in Gahlan's way anymore, now he could see the mass implementation of the butcher's nails. Because that's such a good idea. And he will do it. He found a solution to put the butcher's nails into everybody. I'm not even joking. You could slap that bad boy onto anything and it would work. I'm not sure what the Gehennans had, but they probably had the good stuff. Now, at some point, Isvan 3 happens, and of course, the massacre or atrocity happens there, which leads Surlak into a pretty interesting position. He goes on to learn more about blood and flesh, genes and mutations, and other things that make human demons different, and how he could create abominations because he doesn't really have anything better to do with his time. Didn't do that. I mean, he couldn't be just a normal world eater and just go die on the battlefield. No, I'm gonna make abominations, heresy. And, well, for Surlak to learn this, he was, of course, part of a highly elitist circle of apothecaries who learned most of their stuff from, well, their high magus, the so-called chief apothecary. Wanna guess what that was? Fabius fucking Bio. If you couldn't get it by now, I really don't like that guy. I really don't like the character. So once that was done, Surlak and I presume the other apothecaries that were in the inner circle left to, well, practice what they've learned. And you see, the moment the world eaters enthralled the world of Bod, Gahlan started a program of indoctrination, a rapid indoctrination. And by that I mean, you know how we have these warriors that either fight or die? Let's make them more crazy. Because on this world, a new generation of Legion aspirants were supposed to be born. But since Gahlan Surlak had learned a few things from Fabius Bio, well, that wouldn't be hard to use now. Because now he could create aspirants that not only fight or die, but they lack any idea of fear, pain, or defeat. And you might think, what's the difference between this and the other one? Because this one's at a huger scale. You see, at one point in Ohio, Ohio, America was the capital city of motors. Because there were only 2 cars. Well, things changed when the Americans started mass producing. Then Ford decided, it's a good idea if I made the fabric and I'm gonna hold myself from making edgy jokes for the betterment of my channel. But what was important is that Surlak started to implement things. And of course, Angron gave his approval of it, as much as you think he'll be able to give approval of anything in that period of time. Anyway, as the heresy boomed in the Imperium, the world leaders started to become more isolated and, some would say, more savage in nature. What the new Legion aspirants learned was how to become true world eaters, which at this point is no more different than an orc. But you see, the apothecaries learned a few things with Fabius Bio, and Surlak especially learned how to use the butcher's implant and make things even worse. Because him and a few of his friends, apothecary friends, have learned how to amplify the butcher's nails. How to make those stupid implants even stronger. Which would of course create homicidal madness into the Legion aspirants. So if you want to have a warrior that fears no pain, fear, or defeat, or death itself, and you put the butcher's nails into him, you're gonna get somebody that's gonna fight even after he loses an arm. Because there is no more reason to back down when you lose your arm, or half your head for that matter. Now, unfortunately, our information about Surlak kinda ends here. Because the only things we have for this is basically the Horus Heresy book, Book 6, Retribution, and Angron, Slave of Nuceria. But let's look on what the wiki decides that he had as his war gear. Which, take with a grain of salt. Really. So he had the Natericum Primus. Now you might be wondering, okay, what's that? Does he have a English name? Well, It's, you know, the apothecary drill. Yeah, like the apothecary fist with the drill. That's what it was. I never understood why they never said it properly. He had the master crafted needle pistol. The because he's supposed to be a doctor, I guess. A power axe, a refractor field, a frag grenade, and a crack grenade. And this is all for Surlak. I mean, maybe the Siege of Terra books will give us more insight into him. I mean, not even insight. Maybe they'll give us his fate. Like we had the virus's fate, and that was the die killed by a Nurgle sorcerer. Makes sense. Technically. Anyway, that's all for this lore video. Thank you for watching.